So what is President Donald Trump's game is? What is he doing? Let us try and understand, and I'm being joined by Ambassador Rahul Chhabra, who served in the Ministry of External Affairs as Secretary Economic Relation. Welcome to World Today, Ambassador Chhabra.
Good evening, Pranay. Thank you for having me on your show.
Ambassador Chhabra, my first question to you would be, how India's global positioning is evolving in the changing geopolitics, and especially with respect to President Donald Trump calling India a friend and yet imposing heavy tariffs?
On your first part, that India's global positioning is obviously improving as the economy increases. I mean, we have already become the fourth largest economy, likely to become the third largest in the next before 2028, 29. So that obviously adds a lot of economic heft to the entire status of India. So that is a very important factor when we talk about geopolitics, geo-economics. But on the other hand, it's not always smooth sailing in that sense. So there is in diplomacy, I mean, of course, President Trump calls us his friend, but if there is something that he thinks is not in US interests and he needs to do something about it, well, then he's going to be tough. And that's what we are seeing. He's a transactional president. He wants the best for his own country, make America great again. So in which case, if he needs to take on his friends also, India is one of them. He's taken on the European Union. He's taken on Canada. He's taken on Mexico. I mean, these are all actually partner allies, NATO countries. So,
Yes.
So he will do that. And we have to deal with it.
Absolutely, Ambassador Chhabra, you rightly pointed out that he's being transactional and he's being hard on in fact, his friends only. But how should India counter the Trump's transactional approach, like tariffs or his criticism over, India's dealing with Russia, while safeguarding the economic and the strategic interest of India?
The best way to deal with Trump is he's a little more emotional. I mean, he tweets policies, which is not traditional diplomacy. But that's a new style. That's his style. So he's, of course, welcome to follow that. We don't have to follow a tit for tat. Every time he tweets, every time he says something, or he lays down a new sort of red line, we don't need to immediately react to that. We can take our time. We negotiate internally within our own system, Government of India, because it has to be Commerce Ministry, Finance Ministry, Ministry of External Affairs. Everybody will strategize together, get the guidelines of the Prime Minister on an important topic like this, and then we sort of put forth our response, not necessarily in the public domain the way he has done. So, so while he has played out his cards, he's put them out on the table, part of them. We don't need to play again. It doesn't have to be a very public sort of spat or a public discussion. So these all go on behind the scenes. There are back channels, even official channels, which don't have to be back channels. So all this usual diplomatic work, which we diplomats are used to, that's probably going on as we speak. I'm sure is going on and will lead to some positive results.
No denial about it, Ambassador Chhabra, but what the kind of game President Trump is playing, he is pushing for Pakistan's oil development, so-called, whatever oil Pakistan has, and even suggesting so-called sales to India. This entire thing is very intriguing. How might this impact India's energy security in terms of, whatever, penalty he's likely to impose on India, and the regional dynamics, because the kind of game he is playing, with India and Pakistan is a bit unusual. How do you, what do you make out of it?
He's playing his game. So these are his cards. He's playing his game. We have to play our own game. So we have to strengthen our own internal in terms of economic security, defense security, our security on the borders. So we have to strengthen our own country. Irrespective of what he's doing, I mean, we let him do what he's doing because there's no way you can control his tweets or his policy. You can influence it as diplomats. I mean, you speak to his people in his team, speak to President Trump himself. Prime Minister Modi, I'm sure, has spoken to him. So whatever impact that has. But the end game is really that you have to strengthen yourselves to be able to take on challenges of this nature, which are going to keep coming to you. This is sort of the beginning of the challenge. And then, we don't know how serious the oil reserves are. So we don't need to get unnecessarily perturbed. I mean, that's he maybe he's heard something about the Pakistan's oil reserves. We aren't aware about those reserves, but or maybe he's just he's just trying to call the bluff, or he's trying. We got to call his bluff. So we don't, but we don't have to do it publicly. We just sort of
Obviously, we
go
don't
along.
have to engage with President Donald Trump in this public game and or like, this verbal volley.
Exactly.
You rightly pointed out, Ambassador Chhabra. Thank you very much for joining us. And as Ambassador Chhabra pointed it out, that he is playing his game, but President Donald Trump is trying to play my way or highway. This is going to hurt India-US bilateral relationship, which actually took years of hard work by diplomats like Ambassador Chhabra and many other Indian diplomats.